Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hello, thank you for joining. I know you're following us, but guess what? It's never too late to remind people. Please, please, please support us. If you like what we're doing here, follow us on LinkedIn, on X, on YouTube, because fascinating people in tech here is chatting with me and sharing their experience and expertise. And I'm so privileged today because Jacques Ludik with me today. Jacques, how are you?
Irene, it's wonderful to be here. Just coming back from a big international trip. It was a wonderful experience, actually talking about democratizing AI to benefit everyone and unlocking societal and business value at scale, and see a little bit what's happening in Seoul, South Korea. Haven't been there. Talk about robotics and intelligent agents on trustworthy AI guardrails. And then in Dubai, it was just unbelievable, the forward vision. It is just incredible how business as well as government are aligned in terms of where we need to go. So it was inspiring.
Let's start right there, Jack. Let's start because you're in so many ventures. I mean, you are such a productive leader. I just found your book, How Democratization of AI Benefiting Everyone. We're going to talk about all of it today. Your recent trip you mentioned, right? It's important to
Yes.
be in front of the clients, in front of the partners, governments, you even mentioned, right? What's
Yeah.
the vibe out there? You kind of started talking about it. Give us some details. You mean robotics, railroads? I mean, what's in the future for the humankind in that sense?
It feels, Irene, so interesting because I do travel all around the globe, and I'm doing a little bit more now after COVID. I used to do these world trips. And when I sold my first AI company to General Electric during that time, and at GE, I was doing a lot of world tours. And right now, it is unbelievable to see in South Korea how how not only forward thinking they are, but they are really on the edge of robotics and drones. And I was amazed to see this at scale. And then when you come to Dubai, you see governments, the United Arab Emirates, all seven of them, as well as Saudi. You see all these kind of people completely aligned. They think about the future, really futuristic. They think about how can we shape that sustainable, better future, and it's inspiring. It's inspiring to see vision, longer term planning. And when I go to some of the countries in Africa, I recently met up with the Minister of Science and Technology in Zambia, for instance. We had a big conference there, and it was really great to see the hunger. But there's a big difference between kind of African countries, some African countries that is aspiring, and other countries that's executing. They are really, so there's kind of disparate what we see here. So it's eye opening. So what's needed here is really visionary leadership and execution, um, and to help these kind of countries that need the help. And well, that's what I'm doing as well. So, but I must say, it feels so great. I'm here in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a really a smart city. Probably not as smart city as Singapore or Seoul or some of those countries where things are more smooth and digital. But it's in terms of some of the infrastructure, it is world class. Um, but when you go to Dubai, when you go to Seoul, when you go to Tokyo, you go to some of the US cities as well. It is amazing to see where certain parts of the world is actually leading in terms of digitization, AI-driven digitization, digital transformation, and really thinking about AI and Web3, Metaverse, thinking about augmented reality, virtual reality, already try to build solutions with this. You can see there's also even the people play with ChatGPT, and then you can see there's frustration as well because they want to do a little bit more, and but they see the potential. I think with generative AI, clearly there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of business value that will be unlocked, and we will see industries being disrupted. For sure, especially if it goes more multimodal, not only language, but video, audio, and you bring language and everything together. I think we're going to see something special. And then I do think a decentralized world is absolutely a great possibility, because there's so much innovation with blockchain and to create that kind of creator economy. And if you couple that with personalized AI, and I'm very passionate about that, because I do think that is a way to democratize AI to benefit everyone. And I talk about this in my book as well. So and we need to get to a situation where the tech giants is not just controlling everything, monetizing all data and services. I think it's going to be important that we also balance that with and empower people with their own personalized AI assistant that can help them monetize their data and services, and even while they sleep, do things as well. So yeah, I'm excited about. I can visualize the positive outcomes here, but we still need to navigate there. We got to be careful. I think if I think about digital dictatorship, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about kind of surveillance capitalism. Surveillance capitalism is where you've got effectively powerful multinational companies controlling, manipulating people in subtle ways to make money, and those type of things as well. Now, there's not a problem to provide services and all of these kind of things. I think Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple is coming up with some really interesting products next year, Vision Pro and other things as well. And I think it's going to enhance, it's going to help. But we still need to think about how can we optimize quality of life for as many people as possible. We should not just say optimize GDP. It should be optimize quality of life. And that's why also in my book I talk about a massive transformative purpose for humanity. And there's specific goals that complement United Nations SDGs as well. United Nations vision is great for 2030 and beyond. But I do think there are some goals needed, because we live in a smart technology era, that actually complement those goals and potentially help us achieve it in a better way. In terms of AI, I think the trustworthy AI guardrails are super important. So regulation is super important. Anything that touches individuals, that's even with the likes of ChatGPT and those kind of things. I think generative AI, we will definitely need to ensure that we are positioning it in a responsible way, that's empowering and helping as many people as possible. Unfortunately, it's going to disrupt as well. So we're going to see some tasks being automated. So it's an interesting journey ahead.
Democratization of AI has kind of two sides. I'm sure it has many sides, all right? But
yes,
the two that I see immediately is, first of all, yes, looks like AI is everywhere and anywhere, all right? And number of apps coming, available to all of us. It's impossible. It's overwhelming, right? To kind of even understand what's happening out there, right? At the same time, so it looks like on the user side, right, we have great options. Again, not everything secure, not everything is really ready to be productionalized. On the other side, democratization of AI, to me, in previous years, it was all about skills, because looked like only ivory tower scientists, PhDs no less, could have access to the systems and develop them, in a sophisticated way. So where do you see that democratization is going, in a way that, hey, more and more specialists needed, more software engineers should become AI, AI specialists. So where that democratization of skills going, you think?
Yes, that is a great question, Irene. The way I'm looking at this, do you know what's actually happening here? The smarter it's almost like they say software is eating hardware, eating other things, other industries, all sorts of stuff, and it's AI eating software. I think where we're going is, as we create more intelligent software, and almost, if you think about the human-computer interface right now, we still have mouses and keyboards and all sorts of stuff, but as the technology enables us to just communicate naturally with the computer, with the entity, with the intelligent agent, and this agent can also empathize with me as well. So it's kind of really understand my shortcomings or where I need some assistance and help. I think that is it's the future that we hope that we should aim for. But the point that I want to make here is that if we think about it's becoming easier to communicate your intent and what you want to do. You can, for instance, say something, please write a program to do this, this, and this. And you don't necessarily need to have all the technical skills or even AI knowledge, because you've got an intelligent system, an intelligent agent that tries to figure out what you need and want, and then can execute on that and can do the complicated things. So in that way, the more intelligent the system becomes, the easier it will be for more people to actually use it. So I do think you do have that kind of angle. MIT has got this interesting thing where they talk about sustainers, explainers, and trainers. You can train. This is all to do with jobs that's AI related. So trainers would be people that's actually training the systems, building the models, all of those kind of things. If you think about explainers, is talking about what does it do, and all of those kind of things as well. So you need to have some sort of knowledge of what this model is doing, but it's more on the application side. And then sustainers would be looking at, say, the ethical aspects of this. What is the impact on society? All of those kind of things as well. Does it adhere to regulation and so forth? So we will see these interesting jobs. And I think it's going to be human plus AI. It's going to be people that's embracing the technology and using that to solve problems. And in the future, I've got this one graph that talks about the evolution of intelligence, where you can actually say, where you go all the way from the current narrow type of AI to a kind of AGI, to a sympathetic AI and a shared AI, where that's all explainable, that cooperate with humans. That's also, like humans, we are on guardrails as well. We adhere to laws, government laws. There's morality. There's all sorts of things. We know what's ethics and stuff. So as humans, when I go to Sehul or I go to Dubai, by the way, if you go to the UAE, because of maybe the penalties that's in place, most people or all people adhere to what needs to be done. So you don't see people that's going off rails. So it's very interesting. So I do think if we look at the ecosystem of intelligence, where synthetic AI, intelligent agents, and humans cooperate, whatever is relevant for us should be relevant for intelligent agents as well. We got to ensure that they also stay on the ethical, trustworthy AI path, or just trustworthy path. So I think it's going to be all important. So I hope I answered your question there. So I do think actually as we increase the intelligence, we're also going to increase accessibility as well, along that as well. So we just need to make sure that we empower people. My concern would be that we just go into this without thinking about how we're going to reward positive contributions to society, or how we're going to reward people in ways that's maybe not typical of the job market right now. We probably need to adjust the economic system to make sure that what is the kind of future. If we want to optimize quality of life and we live in a world of abundance, kind of a Star Trek economy, if we hopefully can get there, then the question is, how do you make it as accessible as possible to everyone, to give everybody a kind of opportunity? Now, even in that kind of world, you will always have people that's working harder, that's probably more talented. So you will never get an equal world even there. So as long as you get it more equitable, I think that's going to be quite important. So I do think if we put the right environment structures, governance structures, economic structures, everything in place, we would be able to get to a future that we want, and that don't discriminate against people as well. So it is possible. So we'll have to see. We need visionary leaders to execute.
how do you see that adoption is going now? Because one thing, to me, it's still a huge gap, okay? The possibilities
massive.
of what's possible, okay? These fun videos, these fabulous examples, right? And yet, when I speak with industry leaders, all right, they're kind of, reluctant in many ways. So how do you see it's happening right now? Meaning that is it shifting? Is it even shifting towards
Yeah,
AI adoption?
I think it's shifting. And what surprised me when I was earlier this year, even like Kenya, Nairobi, it was so interesting to see the talent there and the eagerness to learn and playing. It's like this wonderful toolbox where they start playing around with the technology. Now the question is, can you actually create scalable solutions that's meaningful for a country, for the world? So that is the challenge. So I think it's very early days. The adoption is disproportionate. It's not obviously because of maturity of where people are. I can see, for instance, in a country like the UAE, for instance, that given their focus on these kind of things, everything is so smooth and slick. That in Singapore, if you think about those kind of countries as well, so things are moving quicker. And there is guidance needed. So if we want to help the countries that's slower, we don't want countries to be left behind. I do think more about humanity as like a body and cells in a body. And it's so important that we look after and help countries that's lagging as well. And obviously sometimes the people that's leading is stand in the way. So people are typically the greatest enemy of progress as well. So it needs to be, and sometimes democratic processes is also keeping things down, or bureaucracy. So this is why in some countries where you've got more kind of, say China, for instance, the reason why they can grow or at least also progress quicker is because they're looking at a longer term vision and they're trying to align people as well. Not everything is perfect, but it's in smaller countries it's easier. If you think about some smaller countries in Europe, the Scandinavian countries, or some of the other countries where it's less people, where the thinking is probably more in tune with one another, and that you can progress in that regard. So I do think, yeah. So it's on a spectrum, I think. So we just need to try and move it up and improve. And I think it's important for countries to also set an example of what can be done. Because if you see really good examples that's working, then other countries can follow and say, we want to do the same. If you fly across the globe, you can see how quickly technology and systems and infrastructure look similar. So as humanity, we are really doing a good job of just copying what other countries are doing and what works. It doesn't matter if it's more socialistic or communistic versus democratic or whatever it is, there is still that happening. So, and if you see this is creating more wealth, this is working. We just need those good examples across the globe. Cities, smart towns that's doing a great job. And I think it will be interesting to see in a few hundred years from now if there's still countries as we see it today. Maybe it's like the internet. It's like smart cities, smart towns connected like the internet, like nodes, and there's frictionless or borderless kind of interaction and business and flow. I can see that kind of world, because the dangers that we face as humanity is anyway global. We are hyper-connected societies, like this civilization intellect, and if we can influence this intellect to really move in the right direction, it's going to be good for us, for all of us. So I know we've got some wars about territory, about religion, about many things, and it's it's really sad to see some of this as well. And I think if there's real wisdom, if you're looking back, we will see that we can overcome these kind of things, and there are bigger problems that we need to be united as humanity. Even if we don't like, it's almost like globalization is going through all sorts of cycles because of this. But I do think in the future, there needs to be empathy and respect for cultures, and we need to collaborate. And I even think with AI, we're probably going to see that it's going to be easy to communicate with other people in other languages because of what's happening with translations, real-time translations and stuff. Even if we don't all speak English or other languages, it's going to be more smooth and easy. So AI is going to help with better communication, I do think. But we got to be smart. I think we've already seen some dangerous experiments with humanity, and we see mental health problems. That's why we've got AI-driven solutions around mental health. And I do think not only mental health, but I do think we need to look at the well-being of people, and that's going to be important. So for instance, with social media, there's good and bad, and I think this information overload, identity crisis, when people keeping up with the Joneses and all sorts of stuff is, and also as humanity, it's easy for us to see what's going wrong in a different part of the world very quickly, and people can get demoralized. And when they see it, in the past, that was kind of hidden from them. This is just their small world that they operate in. Now we're almost like plugged into this global consciousness, so we have to take care of one another. I see a lot of good. There's currently the Rugby World Cup and Cricket World Cups. South Africa is participating, and it is good to see how that can unite people as well, at least in a country as well. So if we can just unite around a massive transformative purpose that everybody feels inspired by. And that's what I talk about in my book as well. So I do have this whole thing about sapiens and stuff, but we can talk about that later.
I want to encourage everyone, first of all, so follow Jacques on LinkedIn. I'm a big fan now, okay? He's driving multiple ventures, wealth of information. He published a book, Amazon, available to everyone,
everywhere.
Multiple other, everywhere, exactly. Democratizing artificial intelligence to benefit everyone, shaping a better future in the smart technology era. So find Kindle edition, paperback. I really encourage everyone because I'm just opening it up right now, learning a lot. And basically, Jacques, with leader of your caliber, okay, who is not just, speaking about it, who is really driving the ventures out there, okay? Can you tell us, all right, what's making up your days in a way that you're leading startups, you're leading company to grow? So what's your practical angle right now?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm actually at a stage where after COVID, and we've created two AI-driven personal wellness platforms. The one is called Vive Teens. It will become part of ViveU.com, which is absolutely looking at well-being. And there's some exciting stuff that we're looking at in terms of that. But that's a nice practical application. And it's so interesting that that kind of application is resonating everywhere. Last year, we won the World Economic Forum Award, Youth Mental Health Award for that, for that particular app. So that's part of it. I'm actually at a point here where we currently have a kind of a US AI oligopoly, which is good because the US is leading, but I do think it's important for the world that there's other parts of the world that's also strong in AI to complement and also to help move us forward. And so I'm looking at, can we establish a global AI leader that's really, and I'm interested in personalized AI and intelligent agents on trustworthy guardrails. Can we create that? And the intelligent agents shouldn't just be like the generative AI, ChatGPT type of stuff, because they are already building a world model and so forth. But what we need is intelligent agents that really understands what's going on in terms of similar to us, in terms of creating a proper world model, doing proper reasoning and planning. So currently it's limited, very limited. And there are very specific things that I know that we need to pursue. Specific AIs, not just a generative AI stack, but also Jan LeCun talks about energy-based self-supervised learning. I think there's some exciting stuff and components there that will lead us to better types of intelligent agents that really help us. And then there's another strand of AI, different type of AI based on active inference, based on the free energy principle. Professor Carl Friston, and there's a company called Versus in Los Angeles that's also pursuing this. I do think We can get to explainable AI in that way. They also have this path going all the way up to shared intelligence or sympathetic intelligence. And that's, for me, very promising for intelligent agents. So I'm looking at, can we establishing a global AI leader that's innovating, that's pushing AI innovation, but it's really looking at creating state-of-the-art, moving the intelligent agents to become really more intelligent, more sympathetic, and operating in trustworthy AI guardrails. So that kind of thing is very important. And then I do have this kind of vision around Sapiens, which is like a AI-driven super platform that's user-controlled, where everybody's got their own AI agent and they can communicate with others. But this AI agent looks after their data vault, where all their data is stored, and can help and connect with the world. But it could be like what I'm envisioning here is like a lifelong learner assistant, life-wide learner assistant, helping you to make better decisions, also ensuring that you are not too dependent on it, because this dependence lock-in is also a problem. And I also think, so it could be like lifelong learner, it can help with decisions, it can help optimize quality of life, help you make better decisions, all of those kind of things. I think that is the kind of potential that I'm really excited about. And if people make better decisions on sense making, on education, but also in terms of wellness, health, it will be tremendous. So if you just can get an AI agent that's helping on that kind of level, and it's truly really effective, then I think we are moving forward as a humanity. And it's almost driving that goal of optimizing quality of life for as many people as possible. And you want to do it in sustainable ways and in harmony with nature. So those kind of things are important. So I've got and there's more that I can talk about, specifically what this massive transformative purpose for humanity is and how it complements United Nations. I can talk about that. But before I do, I just want to mention the other thing that I'm looking at. So it's not just the AI innovation and then this AI-driven wellness companions and this personalized AI, but also the other leg is around AI-driven sustainable technology venture capital funder funds. So we're busy with putting private equity and venture capital funder funds together so we can actually support these kind of initiatives that I'm talking about, and other initiatives that's complementary to this. So excited about that. Like, this is like a nice vehicle that can help support this as well. So yeah, so those are the things that keep me busy right now. So it's an interesting phase where there's new ventures and looking at making an impact and a difference and causing hopefully positive ripples in civilization. Just a little contribution as well.
Quick advice for those who just planning to start career in technology, because we will need all the talent we can get, don't we?
Absolutely. We will need all the talent. And you know what? The talent is across the spectrum. That excites me as well. I remember a few years ago, I was always going to these AI conferences, and it's all technical. And I remember there was one conference in Rio de Janeiro where there was a lot of different types of philosophy people, ethics people, and I can just see the change. And it's dramatically more so. I see so many people that's in AI. You don't necessarily need to be an expert on the technology. We could maybe be an expert on ethical, trustworthy AI, the applications, regulation aspects, or in the industry, how do you apply it? So it touches everyone, I think, and so it's opening up the door. So I think what one needs to do is you will need to look at how can we use the technology. 21st century skills is looking at really quick adoption, looking at how I can use tools in the most effective way possible. So we need to get used to change and accept change. So even at school level, we need to say, this is 21st century skills. This critical thinking, first principles thinking. I think those kind of things are very important. I also think transdisciplinary thinking is important. It's almost like, if you think about Da Vinci and a lot of the other scientists or people from a few centuries ago, they didn't think about just putting themselves in boxes. Even though I did my Ph.D. in AI, I know business and being a smart technology entrepreneur, and I've gained a lot of experience with that. I'm still open to learn, to think about philosophy, because what is real, what is reality? If you think about epistemology, ontology, all of these kind of things, I just realized it's super important. Because if you think about ethics and regulation, you need to go to philosophy to also assist and help and provide guardrails. So there's almost like I value a kind of the whole spectrum of things. And if I think about sustainability, understanding biology, understanding our environment and what we are doing to our environment, those kind of things are important. What we're doing to space, all sorts of stuff. So I think it's important for people to not to think more broadly, openly about things. Try to make sense. I would love to see an AI assistant that can assist everyone with sense making. So currently in the US, we see a lot of polarization as well. Not only there, other places as well. And if you really want to understand the other point of view, you want to almost steel man it. So if you've got an AI agent that helps you better understand other points of view, so you can appreciate that better, I think we can arrive to more wisdom and empathy and better ways of dealing with things. So I would love to see kind of intelligence or AI supporting us in that regard as well.
This is fantastic, fantastic end of the conversation. Time is flying, Jacques. Thank you so very much for joining me today. In conclusion, can we leave our audience with few maybe takeaways? Because we went all the way, from future trends, from challenges, adoption realities, right? Your ventures. I mean, a few takeaways to remember this conversation by.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got this saying around AI and Web3 where intelligence meets trust. Trust is obviously with decentralization and blockchain and those kind of things. Intelligence is what AI can provide. So I do think those kind of things. So it's a fusion of these AI technologies. We can create a better future if we are smart in how we apply this. But we need to think about the big picture. We need to think about cause and effect. And there's people like Daniel Smachtenberger, part of the Consilience project, that talks about the meta crisis. And those are more system thinkers. And I do think one needs to think about the implications of what we do in a broader context. And when I wrote the book, Democratizing AI to Benefit Everyone, I tried to make sense of what's happening across the globe, not just in all the industries, but what governments are doing, what's the future of AI. But then I asked the question is, what does it mean to be human in the 21st century? And what is the kind of future that we want, the beneficial outcomes that we want? And in chapter 10, I go into a lot of detail there. Chapter 11, I talk about trustworthy AI, ethical AI. And the last chapter, chapter 12, I talk about kind of solutions, brainstorming solutions. And I do think there are solutions. And I'm busy with kind of solutions looking at personalized AI and intelligent agents that's really on trustworthy guardrails. And I think that's what we should really focus on. So that's what I've got to say.
Thank you, Jacques, so very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.